Good morning. Thanks for joining me this morning. Let's get right to it. 1 Kings 3. There's a king. He's a wise king, known as the wisest of all kings, but he's got a difficult decision to make. Let's take a quick look at just what it was. It says, now 2 prostitutes came to the king and stood before him, and I think you probably got an issue right there before they even speak. But anyway, one of them said, my lord, this woman and I live in the same house. I had a baby while she was there with me. The 3rd day after my child was born, this woman also had a baby. We were alone. There was no one in the house but the 2 of us. During the night, this woman's son died because she lay on him. So she got up in the middle of the night and took my son from my side while I, your servant, was asleep. She put him by her breast and put her dead son by my breast. The next morning, I got up to nurse my son, and he was dead. But when I looked at him closely in the morning light, I saw that it wasn't the son that I had born. Okay, so what's Solomon going to do? Well, he's known, remembered as being the wisest of wise men. So what's he going to do? This woman has made a very persuasive argument. She's laid it out. It's obvious that she loves her son. It's obvious that she knew what he was. And it's obvious that she knew how, this came to be. And so what's Solomon going to do? That's supposed to be an uncomfortable silence. Well, what would you do? Before I read the rest of this, let me just explain something to you. And you probably know this, but many times we ignore it. There's all kind of people through all kind of media, especially at this time between now and November the 5th, that want you to listen to them and nobody else. They want you to hear their side of the story and not the other side of the story. Now, the book, this is from 1 Kings 3. It's also attributed to Solomon, rightly or wrongly, over in the book of Proverbs, that it said, how foolish, and indeed how stupid, to decide a matter before hearing both sides of the story. So, if Solomon is wise, he's not going to decide about this. I mean, the other woman's standing right there. Should he not hear from her? Of course he should. Well, as we listen to, I could say a corrupt news media, but let me just say co-opted news media, where the most part of the news media has been co-opted by the liberal side of the aisle. The other side has been co-opted by the conservative side of the aisle. How can you possibly make an informed and reasonable decision if you only listen to one side of the story? Well, here's the rest of this story. The other woman said, now one's made her case, but she hadn't pointed out the other possibilities. The other woman said, no, the living one is my son. The dead one is yours. But the first one insisted, no, the dead one's yours, the living one's mine. And so they argued before the king. The king said, this one says, my son's alive and your son is dead, while that one says, no, your son is dead and mine is alive. Then the king said, bring me a sword. So they brought a sword for the king. He then gave an order, cut the living child in 2 and give half to one and half to the other. The woman whose son was alive was filled with compassion for her son and said to the king, please, my lord, give her the living baby. Don't kill him. But the other one said, neither I nor you shall have him. Cut him in 2. Then the king gave his ruling. Give the living baby to the first woman. Do not kill him. She is his mother. When all Israel heard the verdict the king had given, they held the king in awe, because they saw that he had wisdom from God to administer justice. Couple of things quickly. Number one, wisdom from God is the only true wisdom that there is. And it's the only wisdom that seeks to uplift and improve others. And as you make your decision, and it may be a difficult decision for you, who are you going to vote for? Should you even vote at all? Stop and think. Is it not true that there are those who have been now for the best part of 4 years cutting the baby in half and saying, you take this and we'll take that, and by the way, it's your fault? People are trying to cut the country in half, and it's already deeply divided enough. So let me encourage you to do this. Consider what's best for your child, for your baby, for your son, for your daughter. What's going to be best for them for the balance of their life? To abandon God or to embrace God? Who's coming the closest to doing that? You decide. Now go and do the right thing. God bless you. Thanks for listening.